The day began like any other, under the hum of everyday routines. Cities buzzed with life. People rushed to work, children laughed in parks, and the world spun on in blissful ignorance. But by mid-morning, a shadow swept across the earth. All eyes turned skyward as massive, dark ships punctured the atmosphere, their glossy surfaces glinting in the sunlight. They drifted ominously over the tallest buildings, casting sprawling shadows over entire cityscapes. News channels scrambled to cover the event. Alien invasion blared across every screen and device, panic rippling through the public like wildfire. World leaders tried reaching out, attempting peace talks, but the alien ships hovered, silent and unyielding. No message, no demands, only an eerie stillness. And then, without warning, the silence shattered. From the heart of each hovering ship, a brilliant light pulsed, followed by a slow, sinister release of dark, shimmering energy. This wasn't just any weapon. It was designed to wipe out life, draining the very essence of what it touched. The substance rained down like a glimmering mist, engulfing entire neighborhoods, causing buildings to crumble, and sparking chaos as people ran for cover. It felt as though Earth was suffocating under this relentless storm. Within minutes, cities lay in ruin. Those caught directly beneath the blasts lay unmoving, feared dead. Alien commanders looked down upon the destruction, their calculations exact. They expected no resistance, no survivors. The Earth was meant to submit. But amid the smoldering ruins, something miraculous happened. People began to stir, slowly rising from the rubble. Survivors blinked, dazed and confused, as they felt a strange energy coursing through their veins. Their bodies, which should have been scorched and broken, were instead pulsing with power. Unknown to the alien forces, they had inadvertently ignited something within humanity, a latent force that had yet to be awakened. The aliens' weapon, meant to devastate, had triggered a powerful transformation. In the hours after the assault, the survivors found themselves changed in ways they could barely comprehend. Ordinary people who had once been teachers, chefs, engineers, or students were now feeling heightened senses, new strengths, and strange abilities bubbling within. They could run faster, lift heavier, and some could even bend elements to their will. It wasn't just resilience. It was as if their DNA had been rewritten, unlocking powers beyond imagination. As dawn broke, the world saw its first glimpse of these transformed individuals, the empowered. Families and communities, tentatively stepping from shelters and underground hideouts, marveled at their friends and loved ones who had somehow survived the direct blasts. A man lifted debris with barely an effort. A young woman flicked her hand and summoned fire. Rumors began to spread of people healing with a touch, others bending metal, and still others with vision so sharp they could see for miles. In the middle of it all was Lena, a quiet yet determined woman who had lost everything in the initial attack: her home, her family, her past. She had felt the alien energy seep into her, expecting it to be her end. Instead, it was her beginning. She had absorbed it, felt it surge within her like a second heartbeat. Unlike the others, her powers didn't just manifest. She felt as if she could channel the very energy the aliens had unleashed. Lena quickly became a beacon, rallying the empowered and survivors alike. She recognized that, while they had been attacked mercilessly, they now had an advantage the aliens couldn't possibly understand. Lena's power to absorb and amplify the alien energy made her a formidable leader, and under her guidance, others discovered their own potential. The aliens, watching from above, were baffled and concerned. Their advanced scanners, designed to detect threats, now registered strange anomalies in the human biosignatures below. The humans were supposed to be dead, their civilization crushed. Instead, the readings showed inexplicable energy levels, unique and rapidly intensifying. Alien generals debated their next move, some eager to double down on their assault, others urging caution in the face of the unforeseen. Finally, they deployed a second, heavier round of attacks, hoping to quash the strange anomalies once and for all. More beams of dark energy rained down, coating city ruins and pockets of survivors. But instead of weakening them, the bombardment only awakened new powers in the already empowered and further enhanced those who had begun their transformations. On the ground, Lena led a group of newly empowered people to safety and began teaching them how to harness their abilities. In the small community they created, tales of strength, resilience, and raw power inspired the survivors, who now viewed the aliens not as undefeatable gods, but as a challenge they could meet. The Guardians, as they began calling themselves, saw their powers not as mere survival tools, but as a newfound calling. Humanity's transformation had just begun, and the aliens, realizing their error too late, had unwittingly created their worst nightmare. As the alien forces continued their relentless assault, the newly empowered humans, now called the Guardians, rose to defend their world. From the ashes of destruction, they became symbols of resilience, hope, and defiance. The Guardians each honed their unique powers, training with Lena's guidance to amplify their skills and protect those who had not yet been transformed. They were a patchwork band of ordinary people turned heroes, each one discovering abilities that bordered on mythical. Kai, once a humble delivery driver, now possessed speed beyond human limits, moving so quickly that he could evade alien energy blasts. Elise, a structural engineer, found she could manipulate metals at will, bending steel to create barriers and shields. Others had powers less obvious but no less formidable, like Rowan, who could heal injuries with a touch, and Talia, who could generate blinding bursts of light to disorient alien soldiers. Under Lena's direction, the Guardians began coordinating their efforts, using their abilities strategically to dismantle alien tech, rescue civilians, and keep alien soldiers at bay. Lena's own power to absorb and redirect alien energy became their secret weapon. She could take the destructive blasts intended to kill and turn them into surges of force to protect or attack. As they fought, the Guardians' coordination and powers grew more refined, creating an unbreakable front line that the aliens hadn't anticipated. Meanwhile, reports flooded in from every continent, each telling of other humans developing extraordinary abilities. Across the globe, survivors banded together, organizing in networks of empowered individuals prepared to stand against the alien invaders. For the first time since the invasion began, the aliens felt genuine fear. Their superior technology and weapons, which had conquered countless worlds, were being rendered useless by these unpredictable humans who, despite their small numbers, were becoming impossible to subdue. In response, the alien leaders devised a new plan. Realizing that their traditional weaponry only fueled human resilience, they prepared to deploy an experimental weapon that would theoretically nullify the humans' powers. Their hope was to cripple the Guardians once and for all. The weapon, a colossal energy bomb capable of releasing a disruptive wave, was loaded onto the alien mothership and set on a countdown. The aliens believed it was their last, best chance to reclaim control. Unaware of the bomb but sensing something monumental in the works, Lena and the Guardians prepared for what they felt would be the final battle. They gathered on the outskirts of their city, ready to face whatever came next. The day of reckoning arrived. The alien mothership descended over the city, hovering ominously, its vast shadow casting the landscape in a ghostly twilight. Alien troops poured from smaller ships, marching in precise formation, backed by their advanced weaponry. It was a show of force, meant to intimidate, but Lena and the Guardians stood their ground, unfazed. At the heart of the alien mothership, the energy bomb began its countdown, ticking toward a cataclysmic release that the aliens believed would drain humanity's newfound powers and return Earth to a defenseless state. Lena could sense the change in the air, an ominous hum of energy that felt more dangerous than any previous attack. The Guardians steeled themselves, each one prepared to give everything to protect their world. The battle erupted with a fury that shook the ground. Alien blasts through buildings, their power focused on overwhelming the Guardians. But the humans fought back with a strength born not just from their powers, but from a unity the aliens couldn't understand. Kai streaked through the battlefield, a blur of motion, drawing enemy fire and disabling weaponry before they could reload. Elise crafted makeshift barricades, bending metal to create shields and trenches for civilians, her power seamlessly interwoven with her engineering expertise. The Guardians fought with coordination that stunned the alien soldiers. Rowan moved through the ranks, healing wounded Guardians and civilians, while Talia blinded the alien foot soldiers with bursts of intense light, leaving them vulnerable to attacks. And in the midst of it all, Lena absorbed wave after wave of alien fire, converting it into energy she could unleash, creating surges that scattered alien ranks. As the clock on the bomb neared zero, alien commanders watched with bated breath, anticipating the wave that would put an end to humanity's defiance. But Lena and her team noticed the strange vibrations from the mothership, and she felt an instinctual call, sensing the energy about to erupt. Gathering a team of the strongest Guardians, Lena launched a desperate assault on the mothership, fighting her way inside. Navigating the alien corridors, Lena and her team faced relentless waves of soldiers, but they pressed on, inching closer to the bomb's core. As they neared it, the energy's pulse grew stronger, almost too much for Lena to absorb. But she knew this was their only chance. She reached the bomb, the countdown almost over, and placed her hands on the core, feeling the weapon's immense energy surge through her. Just as it reached critical mass, Lena channeled every ounce of her strength, absorbing the bomb's energy and redirecting it outwards in a massive blast. Her teammates shielded her, funneling their own abilities to amplify the energy as she redirected it back at the alien fleet. The resulting explosion ripped through the mothership and its surrounding fleet, disintegrating every alien craft within range. On the ground, the remaining alien soldiers, witnessing the destruction of their leaders and ships, fell into disarray, retreating in a desperate bid to flee Earth. As the dust settled, Lena and the Guardians emerged from the ruins of the mothership, weary but triumphant. Earth had been saved, not just by power but by the indomitable spirit that burned within them all. The aliens had hoped to erase humanity. Instead, they had forged its greatest heroes. In the days following the final battle, a quiet settled over Earth, broken only by the sounds of people slowly rebuilding their lives. Alien debris littered the land, a grim reminder of the invasion. But to the survivors, it was also a symbol of resilience. The Guardians stood at the heart of it all, weary yet resolute. They had not only defended humanity, they had become something larger: protectors, symbols of hope, and harbingers of a new era. Lena and her team moved through the remnants of the city, helping to clear rubble and offer comfort to those still shaken by the attack. Although her powers had amplified to extraordinary levels during the final battle, she now felt a calm within herself, a sense of unity with her fellow Guardians. Together, they had become more than a defensive force. They were now the vanguards of a world that would never be the same. With the last alien soldiers driven off, Earth survivors began to look to the future with a mixture of awe and hope. Conversations filled the air, plans for rebuilding cities and integrating what alien technology remained. The Guardians, who had proven their worth in battle, were now faced with a new challenge: guiding humanity toward a peaceful, empowered future. They knew their abilities could be a boon, not just for defense, but for building a world that was fairer, more united, and deeply aware of its newfound strength. Scientists and historians documented the Guardians' abilities, seeing in them the spark of a new evolutionary chapter. Across the globe, smaller groups of newly empowered humans continued to emerge, and though their powers were less pronounced than the Guardians, they represented a future where humanity was not only stronger, but more aware of its potential. Lena convened with her fellow Guardians, discussing how they could train these emerging individuals, ensuring that power was balanced with wisdom. Yet, even as peace returned, the Guardians remained vigilant. The aliens' invasion had proven that threats could come from beyond the stars. Lena and her team understood that Earth had changed irrevocably, and they would need to protect it, guiding humanity with the same courage that had brought them through the darkest days. But now, they were not just survivors or fighters. They were beacons, guardians of a world that had risen from its ashes, ready to face the unknown. As Lena looked out over the horizon, watching the sun rise on a world newly awakened, she felt a quiet resolve. Whatever lay ahead, Earth would face it stronger than before, with a unity and courage that could only have been forged by fire. The Guardians stood together, bound by their shared journey, prepared to protect the home they had saved and to lead humanity into a future brighter than any could have imagined.